Hello, my name is Michael Berger, and I have an associate's degree in mechanical engineering and a bachelor's degree in digital science. I have a certificate in AutoCAD and cybersecurity. I worked as a student IT assistant at the University of Akron, a math tutor at Stark State College, SMT operator at Airborne Electronics, and as a student team leader at Kent State University in the Federated Desktop Support Department.
And my name is Gregory Hess. I have a bachelor's degree in digital sciences from Kent State University. I have a Test-Down Security Pro certification, as well as numerous certifications through LinkedIn courses. I've held numerous IT positions in end-user support across Kent State, Beechwood Systems, and Northeast Ohio, and in my local area, in local town of Northeast Ohio, as I reside, and I'm en route to a rotational in Brooklyn, Ohio, this coming summer. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the TechIT podcast. It is July 23rd of 2022, and we are doing a special summer episode here in July on summer, or the topic of wearables, so to speak, with be it fitness wearables or just the enhancement of things, as we've seen everything across from the big brands tying their name to wearable type technology to startups being brought up by different figures in the industry, both big and small. I'm one of your co-hosts, Gregory, and today I am with my friend Mike, as always. Mike, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How's your week going, Greg?
It's going pretty swell. I started my rotational program just 2 weeks ago, and it's been doing well. And soon it'll end shortly, before August, though, so that's when the real work begins, so I'm looking forward to that, I guess, in
That
that
sounds
sort of sense.
that sounds interesting. Um, do you want to go ahead and jump right into everything because we have a lot of cool stuff today in the Wearables podcast that we're trying to do today. Um, we have some articles. Did you want to go over some of those articles, Greg?
Yeah, this is a research piece, so I'm not going to disclose too much of it, so that I can encourage you, all the listeners out there, if you want to check it out. But it's the team over at Cisco. This is big Cisco, not the rapper Cisco. Big company Cisco. App Dynamics research findings about wearable technology as a whole. As a lot of it's percentage figures, so I'll just hit the pieces about it. So it currently says that 85% of people around the world believe wearable technology has potential to positively transform our own personal health and public health services, which I'd say is a good sign, as they project that things in that industry can have a market value in the multiple billions of dollars, with many people hoping to use it for many different things, for like across heart rhythm, heart rate, like keeping track of heart rate and heart rhythm, as well as for like serious conditions beyond the days of Life Alert, where you just push the button in the case of emergency. This will actively track your heart in the smartest way possible, as well as keeping things up like blood pressure. Like, my family had history of bad blood pressure, so seeing just these findings here of more people being confident in wearable technology to help track and mitigate issues with it, be it high or low, whatever it is, based on the context of this condition. It'll come around slowly, as according to this, only 37% of people currently use at least one wearable piece of technology, which is not a lot given the greatest spans of things that people can make of it, but Let me ask you this, though, Mike. Do you use wearable technology?
I have in the past. I used to have something like a knockoff brand to like the Fitbit, like or like a yeah. I would say it's kind of like a Fitbit. Um, that
Bootleg
would
Fitbit.
yeah, that would track my like I'd use it when I would go running, and it would give you like readouts like information that would help you on your decipher how you're doing on your run, and just kind of like are you keeping pace or what's your heartbeat and all that kind of all that cool uh stuff. And I think this is a really cool push for technology, and I think it's definitely uh a good direction because it kind of like shows you data during the activity and kind of makes you want to push yourself a little bit all that harder just to get that extra 1% or like beat your score from last time. And I think this is kind of a step in the right direction. I think a lot of people are slow on the uptake just because uh it's kind of like a newer section in technology, and people are hesitant to get into it. And if you have a bad experience with a wearable where it's just hard to use or it's not working properly, it's hard to sync with your phone or whatever, that can really turn you off to it. So I think early on, people are going to adapt it slowly because I'm sure not everything's going to be up to snuff, whether it be technology wise or it's not gonna. Some of it's gonna be great technology wise, and then on the other hand, it's gonna look chunky or not as clean as it can. So I think it's gonna be a slow early adaptation phase, and then it like as soon as it starts to look, sleeker and cooler and just easier to use, then I think it'll take off.
Because speaking of bad experiences, is this piece I'm looking at right now here on techeconomy.ng. If you listeners out there want to look at it sometime, it's they pointed out that 56% of people claim to have had a bad experience with at least one wearable technology or device, or one of the many, as they put it, 350,000 different personal health tracking applications, which include some things such as just being unresponsive or bad to people thinking there's issues with just keeping an account with them and just even installing the app, which that's pretty poor because that's a wide range of issues right there already, Mike. As we've talked about numerous things in our podcast about things just not working. So, like, you can go all the way up to data privacy and security concerns to just having trouble just setting the app up. It's pretty bad. So, the awareness is there, which is good, which will get into more people in the company landscape of things getting more interested in as well when we talk about products later on in this podcast. But all in all, I personally don't use any wearables. Like the last wearable I had was this thing called a regular watch that just tell time. I got it online for $15, and then it broke when I lost the battery.
Oh my gosh,
So,
we could do a whole episode on watches. There's
so
one that I have my eye on that's solar powered, but more on that later. Should we go ahead and jump into more wearable news?
yeah,
Um,
so this is more aligned with I don't want to say with recent news because I kind of don't want to talk about the recent news that's connected to this piece, but it's informative. So we both of us decided that we should still talk about this piece by TheVerge.com as they're always helpful in giving us content without having to go through a paywall. I'm looking at you, Wall Street Journal, about giving us content to talk about, but yeah, this piece is it's spotlighting the Aura Ring. That's spelled Oura, one word.
it's
By
a smart ring that can
yeah,
detect pregnancy, right? Yeah.
yeah, it's a study discussed by a guy named Ben Smar with two R's about how it increased the agency of pregnant individuals, and that this is a guy who's a data scientist at University in California, where they do research on wearable devices and health, including reproductive health, which is a complex thing still, especially for those that identify as females. as I'll never understand it. I still don't understand reproductive health as someone that's not really gone around lately because of COVID, and then some, as it's still running amok. But there's a good intersection, as he puts it, with wearables, with reproductive health and wearables, as it's often, as he puts it, an underexplored area of research. But looking forward into this, do you do you think like products like this ring would help people like that identify as females get into wearables to manage something as important and real and viable as pregnancy, Mike?
I think you have to look at this as on a case to case basis. As an individual, do you want this ring? Like, is this something like if you're trying to get pregnant, do you want to know early? Then maybe get the ring. But if maybe you're just like I don't know, I feel like people that aren't trying to get pregnant, um, there's just usually protection, and I don't know, like if they can't get abortions, they can't legally get abortions anymore. So maybe why would they buy it anyway? So
Yeah,
So I think yeah, if you're the kind of person that's like, oh yeah, we're trying to get pregnant, then and you want to know as soon as you're pregnant, then it might be a cool product to look into. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of muddy water around the whole Supreme Court ruling. So we're not going to try
still
and go
is.
into it too much, but the research started out as a way to detect the early signs of COVID, right?
Yeah, it's
And
that was a kind of like a side purpose of the ring. Like it's not just a one purpose ring; it's a multi purpose ring.
right. So I don't think he should be dialing back the research at all, if especially if this has other applications. And I know that like it was mostly or most effective in determining pregnancy, but I think we should still try and push the research forward in other for other uses of this because
Right.
it just early detecting early if you're sick or if you have COVID is one thing, but if you're sick, maybe you want to just stay home that day.
Yeah.
Maybe you wake up and your ring says you're sick, and you don't go into work and pass it around to everybody at your office. I mean, that's I think that's a great benefit of having a ring like this if they can perfect the early signs of whatever sickness you have.
Especially in COVID stance, because it said early on it was difficult because they tried to like link it to COVID right when COVID dropped, which made people even more skeptical because many of the signs at the time in early 2020 were not specific. So they struggled to figure out like to program into the ring like, oh, what's a sign of COVID? What's like a cold symptom? What's like something else that's not a cold or COVID? So because a Duke University professor even put it to stance regarding this ring of pregnancy as a core body temperature is very accurate in terms of detecting ovulation, these sorts of things. But she goes on to say that she finds a lot of promise in the ring herself. So that's at least one supporter of this, but it'll take time for
Right.
to commercialize women getting rings to detect something as viable as if their child is detected or not without like having to go through the trouble of making an appointment, driving to the hospital, and sometimes the guy's busy and he cancels for some reason. So I don't know if the ring's ready to completely replace that. And we're not sponsored by the ring at all. I'll put that out also, but this is an interesting piece by theverge.com. I'll say that much, as reproductive health is still not completely transparent to us all, especially us guys here at the podcast. So,
We studied it
yeah,
in school and stuff, but I'm sure
I
living
learned
it
psychology.
and learning it in class is not the same thing. But let's go ahead and jump into something a little bit more or
Work in progress.
a little less controversial
Yeah.
than that topic, which is a wearable a tech startup for an NFL star. They're made by an NFL star.
Well,
What was
Jack,
the name again?
it's
What
called
was
Strive. The player is Jonathan Taylor, star running back currently in the NFL. As it's supposed to be a Seattle startup, so you know they mean business if it's in the West. And it's a bot. I'm gonna try to pronounce this right. It's a Bot Hell, Washington-based company that develops sensors that embed into compression clothing to provide data to teams and players regarding, detecting strains on muscles for like fatigue and efficiency. As Jonathan Taylor puts it, that it's something that helps them understand my physiological strain, fatigue, and efficiency going forward. As the company was just founded not that far away back in 2016 by former athletes. Like I'm gonna try names here again. Nikola Mrvaljevic
I think
as
you
one
did
of the
pretty good.
co-founders, and Karsten Winsnes.
Nice. Um, what are your thoughts on this technology here?
I mean, it's getting backing, so I like when an idea that's new has backing. And as someone that used to manage wrestlers and be around the world of sports, I see positives with this startup. As I still find myself dipping back into sports still, as I sit home bored in my house, as the current state of things makes me want to stay inside and away from the misery, as you put
Yeah,
it. But
under, understandable.
That's,
I
the
think this
scope
is a
is really good though, as Strive is currently working with not just one team, but with the NCAA, the NFL, the EPL, and MLS, along with the military. Like our own military want this stuff,
it's
with more
definitely
investors on the
promising.
way.
It's definitely promising technology, and I can see as a former athlete. I used to play a lot of basketball um, when I was in school, and I can definitely see the benefit of just having the data at your fingertips. And like every day, you're just trying to push yourself 1% better, 1% farther, and just also having the technology and the info to know when you're hitting that point of fatigue and when you need to take a break is like way better than anyone can imagine, because once you're hitting that fatigue, that's when things get risky. That's when you can injure yourself, and uh, that's always a bad day is when you get injured. So coming from someone that likes to uh, train hard and stay safe, this is amazing technology, um, and very important in technology to back. And um, it's definitely important in the way that knowing when fatigue hits, uh, because of safety reasons, because you never know when an injury's going to be your last injury. You know, that one injury that prevents you from playing anymore. And I know a
Yeah,
lot of people growing up when they were really good and they could have gone pro, but they got some injury where they had to go into surgery and something went wrong in surgery, or they got an injury where they just can't play anymore.
it
And
gets
that's
too
always
drastic
depressing.
and severe.
Right. And that's always a depressing time. So this could potentially be a career saver for some people.
Right. It's invested by actually former uh, athletes, which shows the amount of promise where athletes are from the past are even saying, "Yes, I want people to have this because I didn't have it, and I want like the future generation of athletes to have this." And it includes investors from the likes of OSU alumni Troy Smith, who used to play quarterback at the college back when I watched football regularly. So with more names comes good promise, because I don't always like making that correlation where it's like, oh, it's more famous people are talking about it. It's a good thing. But like in the case of this, where it's like in the minds of health and technology, then it's a progressive thing to happen when it comes to something as viable as wearable tech. Of course, to our theme.
All right. Well, speaking more on wearable tech here, let's jump into recent advances in wearable electronic devices that are using new developed electro-spinning technique.
Yeah, so this is a bit of a like super new technology. Again, this is just put out just near the end of June. This piece by news-medical.net, where it's from researchers from Tufts University, TUFTS, and these are some of the latest advances in wearable technology. Is this technology that they call electrospinning, which is for optimal skin conformity, breathability, and biocompatibility without compromising the tunability of their mechanical, electrical, and properties. Is like an instance, as the process itself is the fabrication of nanofibers with tunable properties from a polymer base. Basically, it just senses your biochemical signals better, like smartwatches would, but across the body. Not just like on your wrist, where it just detects like heart rate and stuff. It endows people with enhanced porosity and breathability for long-term use, which is good for athletes that like are in the lengths of like biathletes or Olympic level people, as well as just
Biathlons, triathlons, all the lawns, right?
yeah, all the lawns that need that don't need mowing, but all the as well as like it could be for like those days where you have two-a-day practices and football, and you throwing the pigskin around and you tackle everybody for like 12 hours a day, which I think that's actually they're not allowed to do that anymore, but I see people scraping by with that. And something like this, as well as like the piece we just talked about with that startup, it's giving me good signs that people are starting to take notice with what can become of good research. As I don't know, I've been so endowed with research recently. Like this is like just the smartest technology, and they don't know where to distribute it out yet because this piece doesn't name names. Like they're not saying to partner up with people, but I can see the potential of like in the next coming years, someone like Adidas or Under Armour, they're like looking at stuff like this, go like, I should get on this.
Well, yeah, and the article states that electrospinning is considerably less expensive and more user friendly than photolithography. So I expect this to be a lot cheaper, especially early on, than a lot of the other wearable technologies. So
That'd be
this is definitely some cool research being done here.
It's said to be also almost invisible, which would help for like people that like subtle to your
Right.
technology, like as things get shrink, you know. But this sort of thing also just has a good way of just improving the ease of integration of technology and human physiology.
Oh yeah,
You know,
definitely something to keep an eye on for the future. Maybe one day I'll be able to buy some of these tech wearable clothes just for my everyday workout and just be like, instead of having a Fitbit watch, I'll have a Under Armour shirt that has some kind of display, or maybe it just ports all the data to my phone, and I'll be like, oh, I'm getting my heartbeats this or whatever. I think that'd be really cool.
I know that's how Strive works. I don't know how this will embed itself into finding ways to like how you actually look at it. Besides like the promises that are found here, as the source is the American Institute of Physics.
Yeah.
So
Well, there's
I,
with all these. with the weaving of the electrodes right into the fabric, it just puts out so much. There's just so much potential there. And I'd
I
definitely like
know.
to see what people do with this.
And again, you can find this at news-medical.net, and we'll try to link this along with our other stories under our podcast on our platforms that we put this out on. But now we are going to shout out some different types of wearables that are in the know or in the now that we find to be interesting as things to for us and more people to have and use. Starting with smart watches. But as someone that doesn't have a smartwatch, I can see the use for them as you could find this list at 42gears.com. But it's a way to kind of codependently look at like your phone information as well as without having to get it out during your workout. You can just swipe it on your watch. So the likes of the big brands like Apple and Samsung have gotten into this, but
Now, have you done any research into a smartwatch? Like, have you ever looked into them, like when you were looking for a watch?
I thought about getting the Samsung Gear 4 3. I remember one Black Friday season because I like the way I didn't like Apple's way of going through apps where you like just take a finger and like like wave it around the thing. I felt that was kind of dirty. Like the Samsung Gear, you just kind of like turn the like outer dial of the watch like around the edge of the face of the circle. I found that to be kind of more intuitive for me because I'm not a big fan of touch technology, but
Yeah,
because I found that to be intuitive to just go like you turn the little circle head to like the right a little bit without changing the time to like open Spotify or to check your text messages or go to settings,
I
check the
also
battery.
I've also seen the I know what you're talking about. Like I've seen that, and I do like that functionality. I like that how it's like different from a lot of the other smartwatches that try to copy the Apple products. Um, I I do like it. I feel like it's the style is very nice. It definitely looks sleeker. And looks more like a watch. Like I feel like a lot of the other Apple products and knockoff are like boxy and thick and I don't know. So I do like the Samsung look. I don't like the prices for a lot of these watches. They're
Oh
kind
yeah,
of
it's like
pricey.
it's about as much as the phones.
Yeah. So like I don't know. I'm still kind of keeping an eye on the sector and like waiting for stuff to come down cuz like I also want like there's like this eco-friendly watch on I saw it on Amazon and it's like a solar face and like you don't have to ever worry about replacing your battery or um and it was like a lot cheaper than the and I'm kind of a little watch collector. I don't have a lot of them. I have a couple nice ones and I'm definitely looking to expand, but I'm waiting for the prices to come down. I'm looking for something that's more fits my style because I definitely have a unique style for it, but it's definitely a cool sector to keep an eye on and um just kind of do some research on what styles you like. I also would like more variety. I see that there's not a ton of variety out there right now.
Right.
'Cause they all seem like clones of each other, right?
Yeah, I mean, I get they're trying to be distinct, but also I don't see many people like changing like a lot of watches look the same on paper before smartwatches. Anyway, unless you want to drop like a month's amount of rent kind of money for a watch, like the ones that have like all the different regions on it and like they're like see through and like you have tennis players and golfers sponsoring those watches, like those are crazy.
Right. Like
Like those are like enough for a
everyday
house.
watch, my everyday watch is a Casio, and it's not it's not like an expensive watch, but it's a nice quality watch, and like I don't have to worry about the battery dying or anything like that, and it's made out of decent materials. Um, but I'm definitely looking for something like when thinking about smartwatches, I'm looking for something more futuristic. Like I want something like
That I want to keep for a while.
design wise that just kind of breaks the mold and like I want that out of the box thinker look. Um, like if it looks like a wristband or something, that's actually a watch, that'd be cool. Or if it just, I don't know, like I haven't found what I'm looking for yet, but I definitely have to keep an eye on. But let's go ahead and move into smart jewelry. Um, this is a cool
Yeah.
sector here. I
So we
know.
already talked about a ring earlier, the Oura ring, which is mentioned also here also, but
Hmm.
it has a wider range. It's not just rings currently, as there's bangles, bracelets, I think necklaces even. Because I remember I saw a product the other day that was like a necklace to help like with your like security, where like
Right.
it will like immediately call your primary contact if like you're having trouble or something, like with the either your own personal security or like your information security. Oh, and like as well as ways to connect that jewelry to like your house, like your ring, which in future episodes I'll actually get into why ring's in trouble actually right now, but yeah, it will sync with like technology like the ring cameras and stuff to like say like I'm home. You can detect my ring, right? And it's like okay, and it opens as well as like smart health tracking again, which is always good alongside I mean, I don't know how many of these you want to put on yourself. Like, just have like a bunch of jewelry on your hands, like your Tom Brady at a Super Bowl season, where he's like, "I got so many."
I mean, if you were to buy smart jewelry, what would you get? Like, what would you want to stunt? What would you want to flaunt? I think a
I,
ring would be cool. I just don't want like maybe a ring or a necklace. I don't want to go overboard with it though. Like I think
yeah,
like it definitely has to like I think visually it definitely has to look like more better visually than functionality wise. Like I wouldn't buy something that doesn't look good visually, especially if it's jewelry. So it's
yeah.
like
That's
I
the
think they
battle with
definitely
smart jewelry and clothing in general, which I'll get to in a second here. Smart clothing is that like, do you want to sacrifice looks to make it run better, or like, do you want like it to look as functional as possible, but it looks kind of ugly?
right.
For
I
lack of a
think
better word. You might
I
cost
think
people by saying this looks kind of ugly. I don't want to buy it, but
I think for
that sort of
me at
thing.
least, and probably for a lot of people, if it's jewelry, it's gotta look good. You know, it's gotta
Yeah,
catch some eyes. And then
and
the next section is fitness trackers.
that kind
Um,
of goes inside with watches and Fitbits. Like you
yeah,
said, you had
but
a bootleg Fitbit.
there are distinctive like fitness trackers, and then there are distinctive what smartwatches, and then there are some crossovers. So, um, I don't know. The Fitbit isn't the Fitbit like just generally just a fitness tracker,
Yeah, like the base Fitbits, like just heart rate, steps, blood pressure.
and I think
It
I've
gives you
used
the
enough.
time.
I used to yeah, it does tell you the time. I used a knockoff version of a Fitbit, and it did give you the time, but it also gave like readouts of like a pedometer, like it gave you like calories burned and heart rate. Um, I think this section, the fitness tracker section, track the fitness tracker section is a section that started early in tech and kind of slowed down. Like I feel like they're not going above and beyond to like make it viable because once you get that smartwatch, you a lot of those functionalities are included in the
Well,
smartwatch.
yeah, it eclipses it. It's like when iPads took over the Kindles,
Hmm.
so in a similar way, but in the same way, other things will in terms of replacing smart clothing, which we already touched upon some aspects of. It's like I'm looking at this again. Smart pants. Do you want smart pants?
Okay, I really like this idea. I don't know why. Like as a user of the pants, I don't care if a company knows how much I wear it. If I really like the pants and they know that I wear the pants all the time, great. You made a great product. I want them to know that. Like, so I really don't care. Like, if I never wear their product, then I want them to know that. So I don't see the a huge problem with this. Um, I can't think of any reason why I wouldn't want them to know where my pants are. I just like if they're tracking like where I'm going, that might be a little bit weird. But like if they're just tracking how often I wear it, like how often I'm putting it on the pants and taking them off, like just like maybe they just like have a count like you wear the pants this many days a month. That would be cool. Like so that way they know I really like their product. They should make more products like that, or make more styles like that. Or
But yeah, like they're noting the lengths of it where you can go from like that to like even smart swimsuits, which I don't what it alerts people when they should apply sunscreen. I mean, there's a lot of areas on your body that need sunscreen, but I don't know how just wearing shorts says, oh yeah, you need sunscreen on your face.
mhm.
Like I don't know how that correlation works personally, but this piece also includes head-mounted displays, which we've talked a lot about AR and VR already.
Mhm.
So I don't think we have to say more about that. We've already said it's here, but the industry still thinks everyone's not ready for it. As
They
I think it
include
was
implantables as well, which I'm not a fan of.
no,
We talked about in that past episodes as well, so we won't go into too much detail on it. If you guys want to check out this article, it's on 42gears.com. It's called Six Wearable Technologies You Must Know About Right Now. Um, I think we have one more article in this section
yeah,
about wearables, right?
yeah. So we're spotlighting more wearables in this episode. So if you're into them, we'll give them a shout out. We'll give the shout out the ones that we are personally interested in. But in our last piece here, we're gonna shout out a startup called Invisaware, which is its own company, which is backed by ADT Security, which is that is the necklace I mentioned earlier, actually, that helps you keep track of a loved one in case they're in trouble. You double click the charm to alert friends and family if you need help, or a text message to your pre-selected emergency accounts, contacts, as well as a free and optional 911, which that's important. So we just want to give that company a shout out as it has its own website here, and it's called invisaware.com. That is INVISAWEAR. Invisaware. Smart
Yep.
technology. Comes in necklaces. I think that's a bracelet and charms.
Yeah, it looks like
So
a keychain, a necklace, yeah, a bracelet. These are decent looking. Like I would wear this. These it's not. It doesn't look like it's very like one of them has a flower on it, but it doesn't look like it's super
there's
um
no there's
like super
variations.
chunky. It does. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's super chunky or anything. It's not gonna like weigh you down, and it kind of looks like normal jewelry, right? So
I think it make a great gift for like those of you that have elderly
yeah.
demographics in your family still.
Well, it doesn't even have to be someone elderly. Like we're all about health and safety
Oh
around
yeah, you
here.
can
So
have it now if like you're just like coming into college and your parents are worried that you're not safe or
they're
something.
they're
Because
like, oh, campus is huge. We don't know if it's safe to wander in at night. So you're like, oh, don't worry, I got my Invisaware, so they'll feel safer. Or maybe you're just going on vacation and you're
yeah,
not like sure about the area, so like you give your kids these, like maybe you buy
Inviswares.
a necklace or a keychain for your kids, and then you're like you can go out to the beach or go out to whatever country and just go on vacation without having to feel anxious or scared or anything. So yeah, definitely a helpful
No
project
doubt.
there.
But we just want to spotlight them separately as a whole. You can find them again at the website I mentioned. But some more technology we want to spotlight is and I don't know how much credit I should give them because I think it was just last year I brought up how Ray-Ban took these story glasses idea from Snapchat,
Yeah.
and some time has passed. I'm sorry, I'm still not into these. Like it's only you can only do videos up to 30 seconds, and you can somehow make calls with this and play music out of them. Which, if you want to get beat up on the subway, feel free to play music out of these
Well,
and
there's
bug everybody. But
well, if you look at the smart glasses sector, there's other options too. There's like I think Google Glass are they still in development?
I think it's development. They closed development like back in
They
2015,
might have they
16.
might have paused it or closed it. I don't know. We should probably check back up into them because I think I liked where their ideas. I just think they need to um clarify their intentions and like what this product is for. I think I saw a TikTok or something of someone using a knockoff brand of smart glasses to like record their like lectures, which I thought was really cool.
I
And
think
I
we
think
even talked about it.
yeah, so yeah, definitely like I when I went to college, I recorded my lectures with audio, but if you could do it with video as well, like you can't always write down every single thing that the
No.
professor writes on the board. So like you just take notes. You take notes of what you think is going to be on the exam, and if you miss something, then you're kind of screwed, right? So like having these smart glasses when you're just in your class trying to take notes, maybe you don't even have to take notes. Maybe you can just take some notes and then later go finish them off. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, I think there's a lot of potential for smart glasses. I just think they got to be conscious of conscious of how they're being used. You know,
Yeah, and that's a collaboration by Ray-Ban and Google. Not Google, damn it. Uh,
who was that? I forget.
Meta and Ray-Ban, Facebook
Metaverse.
and
Yeah.
Ray-Ban. So that's the other reason I'm not into one. But from the face to the torso, we got the Levi's trucker jacket by Google. Ah,
Google again.
you
More
can't escape them.
smartphones.
Uh, yeah, you can use this jacket to kind of codependently work with your smartphone to control music, calls, and get directions when you're on the road, which I don't know where that comes out of, but it works with both Android and iOS right now, and it's wire resistant, and it comes with a battery life of supposedly up to 14 days.
Oh,
So,
that's nice though.
that's a long time, I think, but I don't know how often you all are wearing trucker jackets, and I don't
Well,
know.
if
I
you're
don't have the
driving a
price
truck,
here. I don't have
if
the
you're
price here yet. Let me see if I can get the
if you're
price.
driving a truck, you could be on the road for days at a time. So like having a long, so my buddy from high school drives trucks now. Um, like he does a lot of driving all across the country, and I know he would appreciate this because he's always complaining about his phone running out of charge, and he has to like plug it in the truck, or like I think he would definitely appreciate this. Also for like phone calls, like or controlling your music, or whatever, because he says it gets boring on the road, and he's like always pulling up a podcast or a book on tape, and being able to control that from your like maybe some buttons on your jacket. That's cool. Like that would it's totally useful.
It's near field technology, so Bluetooth, so it's not too new, but I have the price point here as it's I don't know, supposedly on sale from $350 for $244.98, but it's also out of stock for shipping.
I can see why.
So
More and more truckers every day. Like there's so much more trip shipping going on nowadays with everybody at home. More and more people are staying home and having stuff sent to their house, whether it's UPS, Amazon, whatever. So
right.
yeah, so they're definitely. I can see how they're a hot product.
And our last product we're looking at today is these IQ Buds Max by New Hera. I'm doing good with pronunciation today. Uh
I think you
I
got
don't know
close enough.
what it's technically an earbud. So I don't know why it's calling it ear wearable. Like they're rebranding it like it's not earbud, but anyway, it's it's for the hearing impaired. So it lets you hear the world, so to speak, with active noise cancellation, high fidelity sound. Also, it makes a hearing profile for both iPhone and Android. So I've seen hearing aids in the past with my own grandparents. Some of them not even with me anymore. Rest in peace. But the the uh, the fact that hearing aids have gone more into uh, I don't know, with the times, rather than just being things where it's like you connect it and you charge it on the ugly thing they have to plug into a wall, and it takes like all day to charge. So grandma and grandpa can't hear their kids because their old ear hearing aid takes like all day to charge again.
These, just looking at these, they're stylish. These are cool. Like if people see you wearing these, you're gonna think they think you're wearing some like Bose earbud knockoff. But they look really sleek.
I know, man. Like the case is minimalist and the look is minimalist. Like it's not like they're hearing like Beats headphones on themselves just to hear their
Oh my
grandson or
gosh, don't get me
grandchild.
started on Beats.
Let me see if I can look up a price point for these. Give me a second. So unlike the jacket, they're actually in stock. And okay, that's a good price. It's a HKD $3,899.
I wonder how that is compared to like a normal hearing aid.
Yeah, I wonder because um, I wouldn't, as much as I love this look and everything, the price is a bit high. If you're looking for something for for Grandparents' Day or upcoming holidays and reunions to get your grandparents or even parents or yourself, I don't know if you yourselves, a listener, would want this or
Just
need
did a
this.
quick search in Google, and I see anything from $100 to like $2,000 for hearing aids.
Yeah, so the range is there. This one is a bit pricey for now, but the idea is there to just reintegrate new technology with older technology that is present, like just finished clothes having more smart technology in them. The same way that something as not ancient, but like something as prevalent as hearing loss
Hmm.
can have a component where it looks like nice Bose earphones. You know, you got any clothing thoughts on these though from this list, Mike?
No, I think we wrapped it up pretty well there. Um, definitely check out the Invisiware guys if you get a chance. Uh, it's really cool, and the price point's pretty decent compared to a lot of other wearables.
Counterparts as well.
Hmm.
And for the wearables that we just mentioned, such as the elder for the hearing aids, as well as the Ray-Ban glasses that are smart that you can look at right now. That's at online-tech-tips.com. And again, we just like to thank you all for listening to us today. And feel free to give us a like, a share, a comment, I don't know, a retweet, a repost. Um, and the like just for all of us, and just we're always open to feedback. And coming soon, we'll have a Patreon soon before the snow comes down, at least. Currently that's on the timetable. I get that squared away. So stay safe out there, everyone, and also stay vigilant.
Stay vigilant. Have a good one, guys.